Hi everybody, Mature Simmer here. So welcome back to the NASCAR 2022 series with Walker Air Transport. So we're here in Kansas City and we're going ahead. Again, we're flying the 2022 schedule, just trying to kind of stay on time. So the race at that point, All-Star Race, was taking place on Sunday, May 22nd. So we're going to be heading over to Texas, going to Kilo Alpha Foxtrot Whiskey, which is Fort Worth Alliance Airport. Both of these airports have, 9,000 plus foot runways, so we're going to go ahead and use the Airbus here today. And I'm getting ready to get set up. We're also going to continue using Beyond ATC. It's been working pretty well. We've had a few hiccups here and there, but I need to get the plane set and ready. You can see the weather's pretty dismal here, but let me get to the point that I am able to, at least call air traffic and get that moving, and then we will move along after that. So I'll see you in a bit. Kansas City clearance. Request IFR to Fort Worth, Walker 4021.
Walker 4021, clearance. Cleared to Fort Worth Alliance Airport. Racer 8 departure. Doso transition, then as filed. Maintain 5,000. Departure frequency 124.7. Squawk 4151.
Cleared to Fort Worth Alliance Airport. Racer 8 departure, Doso a transition, then as filed. Maintain 5,000. Departure frequency 124.7. Squawk 4151. Walker 4021.
Walker 4021, read back correct. Contact ground 130.825 when ready for pushback or engine start.
Alright. I was doing some pretty significant flights, like 7,000 miles plus, so I had auto respond on, and I hadn't noticed that in some of my challenges of getting things going. Contact ground 130.825 when ready for pushback or engine start. Walker 4021. So still using the auto tune, but we'll get that. But we have our clearance, so and that is what we would expect. That's what we've got in our computer. Alright, so I've got my ground spoilers armed, but I need to get, what was it, 4151. Some of them are, let's see, we'll put it on auto, we'll turn that on, we should be good. Get that turned on. Alright, we're tuned to 130.825 as we saw. I think we're getting close. We've got 36,000 as our flight level, so I think we're good. Request push and start, Walker 4021. So we're here at
Walker
gate 40.
Ground, pushback and engine start approved. Face southwest.
Face southwest, Walker 4021. Alright, so I realized when I popped out here I didn't have FSLTL running, so what starts to happen at an airport like this, suddenly then all the gates come out and go to the planes as the planes appear and so forth, so apologize for all the beeping, but we need to get pushback going here. And yes, there are no large gates here at Kansas City, but we're not that large. But obviously, if we did have someone, although I think this gate is really for that plane. So yeah, unfortunately, been having a bit of challenge, not just with Beyond ATC, but with Microsoft Flight Simulator. I was going to try to use the Phoenix A320. I'm having difficulty getting it to connect up appropriately. I had you know, done some other add-ons in Flight Simulator just that I was interested in trying out. Got rid of those, didn't help. I've uninstalled the Phoenix. I was also unable to get this fly-by-wire working, so I was just about ready to do this with the PMDG. But it did start working again, but my concern is I don't know why it's finicky the way it is. So basically what happens is you come in, and then, you know, the first thing you need to do is hit that external power button. You do that, and it doesn't behave properly, and then normally you'll go and do batteries and so forth. And I'm assuming we don't need, yeah, we don't have center tanks. Doesn't seem like enough fuel, but it should know what it's doing, so we'll go with it. We have to face southeast, which is which way? Well, I'm going to go ahead and do that, because I've found it goes away after a time. So, alright, so we should be able to start the engines. So let's start doing that. Actually, I think we're facing southwest, but it's alright. Actually, that's where it wants us, is southwest, so even better. And that made sense because, oh boy, that's not good. Did I forget to start the APU? God darn it. Everything should be good. The APU's running this time, so I should be okay. So we're going to get the nav lights on. Seatbelt, no smoking. Alright, well, hopefully it'll all work this time. So let's start the engines again. If nothing else, maybe we'll, you know, get an engine running before we disconnect. But we should be good. So yeah, I think that was the disconnect sound. Oh, I don't have the bleed on. So just too many things happening. All right, that should work. That should, there we go. So we need APU bleed. I've been really bad at using my chronometer. It's kind of a standard thing, and oh, I didn't do my didn't set my new transponder, which is now 4656. So we'll turn that on, get that going, because otherwise they're going to yell at us. Alright, and then we should be able to get the second engine running. And I don't have my flaps set either. Alright. So, yeah, things get a little messed up when things just aren't working, and, you know, I'm not a professional airline pilot, so I get discombobulated, I guess. Alright, so we'll set the parking brakes. Alright, so we should be ready to go. Request taxi to runway, Walker 4021.
Walker 4021, runway 9 taxi via Delta, Alpha.
Runway 9er, taxi via Delta, Alpha, Walker 4021. Alright, so at this point, we should be good. So we'll confirm good engine start. We'll get ourselves disconnected. Just doing my checks again. Everything's set there. I've got taxi on. Alright, again, I shouldn't need the center pumps. All our nav aids are on. Seatbelts, parking brake. Alright, I'd flipped that on before, and now it's telling me off. Aiders, switching. What is aider? What am I missing there? I don't know. We should be okay. Alright, now we don't need the bleed. We also technically shouldn't need APU. Alright, put strobe on auto. And then we should be given the ability to go soon. So let's see. Going to Niner. Alright, so Delta, Alpha. So basically, kind of right in front of us there. Alright, they're waving, but I haven't seen they have a good flight yet. There we go. Alright. So now we can go ahead. Goodness gracious. Well, I guess with all that, it's not raining anymore. But we'll see. We might still fly through it or whatever. Oops. Hit the brake a little too hard. So yeah, Delta's this first one, and then Alpha's the next one down. I don't know, I'm just going to go to Alpha. Because in theory we crossed Delta, but Alpha's just parallel to it. I don't know that it makes sense to go down the other one. Trying to remember, do I not have FSLTL running again? I don't see any traffic on my radar, so now I'm thinking I don't have that. What? We're just going a little too fast. Alright, let me back this off a little bit. Alright, we are getting there. So yeah, I had turned it, I had to reset obviously. So now it's starting to put a bunch of aircraft near the terminal, but we should have seen more there, but oh well.
Walker 4021, contact tower 128.2.
Contact tower 128.2, Walker 4021. Whoops, I kind of let go of my thing a little bit early. Alright, so this is where we want to be. Tower, Walker 4021, request departure.
Walker 4021, tower, wind 100 at 7, fly heading 200, runway 9er, cleared for takeoff.
Heading 200.
No. Walker 4021 cleared for takeoff, runway 9er.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 9er, Walker 4021. Had to let go of the button because the plane was clearly heading off the runway, so yeah, it was just not a good thing. Because I've got the push to talk as the tab key. Alright, there's 9er. Alright, let's get everything set, because now we need our takeoff lights, we need our landing lights on. And we should be all set. Got the brake on. We're all good. So let us finally do this. Holy moly. I think it's taken me like an hour to get to this point. But 8 minutes from once we hit the chronometer, but we got some planes. Alright, 120 is what we need. Need to get a positive rate. Gear up. And then I need to get my self back there. And then we should have auto throttle. And we should be able to do autopilot. And everything should be excellent now.
Walker 4021, contact
Whoops.
Kansas City departure.
Alright, what am I missing here? I think we're going too fast, but... No, I think it's because I don't have my flaps up, so... Contact Kansas City departure, Walker 4021. Kansas City departure, Walker 4021, passing through flight level 5000.
Walker 4021, Kansas City departure, radar contact, cleared direct SPRNT, resume the Racer 8. Climb and maintain flight level 180.
Cleared direct sprint, resume Racer 8, climb and maintain flight level 180, Walker 4021. So yeah, we basically had to turn around, 180 degrees. Alright, so we're all set. There's the airport. So basically we took off on that runway. So, we're heading there, and then we're going to basically head over. We're going to turn to the right here in a little bit. We are climbing some crazy amount, it seems. It's hard to see. 4,300's not too bad. But anyway, now we can turn off the landing lights. So it's flight level 180. I may need to... I'll see if we start getting close. Because in theory, I really shouldn't be set higher than that right now, because that's all we're cleared to. But if we don't get out of the airspace fast enough, we may approach that before we're ready. But as I said, we've turned left. I did say right, but we turned left, and now we're heading for an intercept. We don't really have that many nav points as we're going along here. Pretty short flight. I mean, it's 400 miles, so it's not nothing, but we'll be there pretty quickly, because we're already at a ground speed of 350 knots almost, and obviously as we climb, it's just going to go faster.
Walker 4021, contact Kansas City Center 123.8, see you.
Contact Kansas City Center 123.8. Thanks for the service, Walker 4021.
You're welcome.
Kansas City Center, Walker 4021, passing flight level 170 on the way to 180.
Walker 4021, Kansas City Center. Good day. Climb and maintain flight level 360.
Climb and maintain flight level 360, Walker 4021. Alright, so we started to level out, but then we were able to take off again. Alright, transition level, so we've got everything set. We're up to 374 knots for ground speed, but we're kind of up above the clouds at this point. Looks like we've got a pretty clear cloud layer above. We'll see what things look like as we get over there, it looks like we got a lot of clouds between us and Fort Worth, though, I'll tell you that. So, I had said, again, we're heading down to the All-Star Race in Texas in 2024, which is when I'm flying this. The All-Star Race is also taking place on this weekend, but it's at North Wilkesboro. So, and then we are, we've basically got the next 3 locations are the same. So, we'll talk about those obviously as we go forward. And, you know, we'll then keep moving along. So, our next 3 legs are going to be there. And then we do have a break of a week for some reason that happened in 2022 in mid-June, where we skipped a race. But, you know, we'll see how things all play out. But obviously we've been running around a little bit differently. And, you know, in 2024, we're going to have a Olympic break at the end of July and into August. But we don't have that in 2022, so there will be some flights happening while there aren't NASCAR races happening. But I think other than that, it'll probably be more typical that maybe we won't fly when we have something. Oh, it looks like we're passing over an airport right now. Somewhere, yep, right there down below. New Century or something, and there's supposedly a Cherokee taking off. They're only at like 2,000 feet. They're heading in our direction, so they're coming off that runway right there, is what I'm seeing on traffic. But obviously we're going way faster than they are, and we're about 25,000 feet above their heads, so it really doesn't matter. It's just something to share with you. Alright, so we are now going to DeSoa still. And let's see, what is that, 35 nautical miles? So we've got a ways, but we've got a couple big long legs. So we just passed over a grass strip, Hayden Farms, 1,700 feet. I've got my little nav map really zoomed in quite a bit. So and now it looks like we're heading over some water here.
Kansas City Center 127.725.
Contact Kansas City Center 127.725, Walker 4021. Kansas City Center, Walker 4021. Passing flight level 300 on the way to flight level 360.
Walker 4021, Kansas City Center, roger.
Alright, well, good news is we've already got some breaks in clouds. We're kind of out of Kansas City proper now by a little bit of distance there. Oh, actually, I guess we were going to Sprint or whatever. I guess we were passing over that when I looked and saw that we had 35 to DOSA. But we really have DOSA, then TUL, which I think is, I assume is Tulsa, Oklahoma, and then, you know, we're heading into a few other points. I had to redo my flight plan in the computer because basically the ILS and the arrival kind of overlapped, so that made little sense. So I got rid of some waypoints and flew more direct. So we're going to UW Uniform Whiskey Tango at some point, and that will you know, get us in where we need to get in appropriately. But we're getting close here. Heading through almost 33,000 feet, slowing down a little bit. Only climbing at 2,600. But man, the sun is bright. I'm trying to remember. I think I was flying out in the afternoon on in sim time here. I think I had it at like 2 p.m. So we're kind of heading into, you know, the west, so we're heading a little bit toward the sun right now. We're going southwest at about, I'm not sure if we can tell, you know, 195-ish, 194 maybe. So almost straight south, but not quite. There's definitely a little bit of movement around. We're starting to get to the point where we'll be leveling out here shortly. So you can see it coming in, you can see that coming in. And our ground speed's at about 420, 425, depending on how things go. We'll see if it speeds up a little bit. It seems to actually be slowing down. So let's see, we're at Mach 0.783. What do we have in the flight computer? 0.78, so yeah, that'll be about it. But you can see, you know, we've got a few hundred miles to go to the descent. I think this is going to take a little bit of time. I'm not sure that I'm that entertaining when we're just flying over a bunch of clouds. I mean, I could keep calling out things that we're passing over, but right now, let me see if I look at my tracker. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to go ahead and let this go for a bit. It's just been a comedy of errors. I've had to restart it again because I realized when I went to see how much time I had left, I hadn't started my Walker flight tracking. But we have about 40 minutes at this point, so I will see you in a bit. Alright, heading into Fort Worth. Begun descending not too long ago, or not even at 34,000 feet, but we've been cleared. Sorry, turning off the auto respond. So we've been cleared down to 8,000. And they've given us the new altimeter setting, but we can't really deal with that until we get below 18. Unlike some of the other aircraft, we can't dial it in early on these, so I'm just going to wait. It says we're about 15 minutes away, but we'll see how it goes. You know how that works. It gets lower, and then it's you know, it's later, and you get slower. I know what I'm trying to say. The words aren't getting out, so I apologize for fumbling around with that. But we're basically almost direct north of the airport. We're not quite there. So again, we're not going to DFW. We're going to AFW. So this is a different airport, I assume once again, because the track is probably closer to that than it would be for anything else. If you're enjoying Beyond ATC, first off, that, you know, glad to be able to do that. I'm certainly enjoying it. I try to use it wherever I can, but the other kind of standard series that I've got for Flight Sim on the channel right now, which is the career mod, which I'm doing in NeoFly, because that's such low level and so forth, it doesn't look like Beyond ATC is going to work for that right now. In the future it may, because they are supposed to do VFR eventually and so forth. Now, the challenge I have with that, honestly, is VFR is technically supposed to use very little air traffic. I mean, yeah, you're going to need someone to let you land and basically someone to taxi you in the runway, but beyond that, like, that's the whole point. It's visual flight rules. Like, you're flying and looking around and guiding yourself. So short of them telling you don't exceed 4,000 feet and stuff like that, you know, there's not much that they'd be doing. So on the one hand, if that's all they're going to do, you would think they could have just implemented that right away. You know, and it does make me wonder a little bit of what they're going to do, because I know kind of the competitor to this, Say Intentions, kind of started the opposite. Like, they did VFR first and didn't have IFR, which is really what you need air traffic for. So to me, that seemed almost, I mean, honestly, backwards, especially given the high price point that Say Intentions has, because they're basically $30, $40 a month. And as opposed to $30 to buy beyond ATC unless you want to use premium voices. So we're coming up on another waypoint, and that basically is going to get us on the arrival, but then we're just simply going to touch that waypoint, and then we're going to, for the most part, ignore the remainder of the arrival because we need to head a little bit further west. So instead of going, say, 190 or whatever, because right now you can see we're going about 212 is our heading. We're probably going to turn back to maybe 200, 195, because it's really not that far off, but we're going from Font, which you can see we're 18 miles away from, to Benicia, B-N-Y-T-A. Oh, sorry. Benicia is the one we're not going to. This is UWT that we'd be going to. It's just what I'm looking at. It's not actually showing that because all of the waypoints on the approach, or on the star or the standard approach route are the ones that are labeled. But I should know that because the route's in green in my Navigraph, and those are green, and the arrival, the ILS arrival, or I'm sorry, I'm getting that backwards. The arrival of WAT 2 is green, and the approach is of ILS runway 16 left is orange. And so on the one I mentioned that started with a B that I'm not going to butcher again was on the green. But let's see, just under 30. So it'll be interesting because I'm sure, like right now, we're being controlled by Fort Worth Center, so we are not yet on Fort Worth approach. But I assume, maybe once we switch onto the arrival, we may be, but it may wait because I think we're going to have 41 nautical miles, if I remember what I saw before, from Font to UWT, or Uniform Whiskey Tango. So, but yeah, it's Perot Fort Worth Alliance. So there used to be a guy, Ross Perot. He actually ran for president at one point, but he was a businessman. He just had less corrupt thoughts than the last supposed businessman we had in the White House. But, he's still got his name here on this airport, I guess. So he did have a business, so maybe this was what he utilized, and maybe he turned it over to the city later. I don't know. Alright, so now we're turning, as I said, so we'll see. Looks like, we're basically going 194. I almost called it perfectly. So, and yes, we're down to 39 nautical miles. And then we should be in pretty good shape after that. So, just moving my flight stick, or my view stick. Oh, hold on.
Walker 4021, contact Fort Worth Center 126.775. Have a good one.
Contact Fort Worth Center 126.775, Walker 4021. Fort Worth Center, Walker 4021, descending through flight level 270 on my way to 8,000.
Walker 4021, Fort Worth Center, roger.
So there's an American 737 behind me at 34,000 feet. They are descending as well, but they're not quite going on the same route. I thought they were going to join up, but it looks like they're just going straight across. So they may be landing. Maybe they're going to DFW or something. And then in front of us, we have a Southwest 737 that's coming in from that direction somewhere that's just passing through 19,000, flight level 190, which is about 5,000 feet below us right now. So we may see their contrail, we may not. Not sure.
Walker 4021, contact Fort Worth Center 133.25.
Contact Fort Worth Center 133.25, Walker 4021. Forgot to turn off my takeoff light. Fort Worth Center, Walker 4021, descending through flight level 210 on my way to 8,000.
Walker 4021, Fort Worth Center, roger.
So, apologize for that. Staring at the instrument panel for probably longer than you wanted. But you can see we're going down at a flight angle of 4%. Let's see what things look like. Check weight. Interesting. Alright, well hopefully we won't have a problem. So we should be, alright, slowing down at 288 and about 13,000 by the time we get there. 13 miles away? Maybe. We're already under 20, so, you know, it's kind of maintaining that point. You know, it really should dive a little more. Okay, I was just checking because it almost seemed to be leveling out. I'm like, what is it doing? So now it's dropping back again, and I'm sure it's going to start chasing that a little bit. So I'm not quite sure why it did that. It may have been trying to slow down. But the problem is, you know, it's going to speed up again as it tries to dive a little bit. Alright, let me turn this back. Okay, 2977. So that's actually going to lower me, so that'll help. As the QNH goes down, I believe then as the pressure drops, the altitude gets a little lower. So that should help, but again, this is that 288 that it's targeting. We're kind of drifting down a little bit. I'm not seeing any message on the FMC to put some drag in like I did on one thing. Again, first time I've used the chronometer, so we can see we're at just over an hour since we got away from the gate. One thing I haven't looked at is, like, when do they normally do it?
Contact regional approach 118.1. Take care.
Contact 118.1, Walker 4021. Regional approach, Walker 4021, passing through 14,000 on my way to 8,000.
Walker 4021, verify information Sierra.
Information Sierra, Walker 4021.
Walker 4021, regional approach, altimeter 29er77, expect the visual approach runway 16 left.
Expect visual approach 16 left, Walker 4021. Well, little do they know that that's not what I'm doing. I'm using the ILS, so whatever they want to tell me. So this is probably where something like Beyond ATC could do a little bit better, certainly, because, you know, it does have an issue there, so we're going to argue. It's literally spelled that way, as you can see. 25 nautical miles away. We should be at 6,000 feet, basically. Problem is, we're going to end up leveling out, and we're going to need to get to 250 before we hit 10,000. That's likely going to cause a bit of a challenge, but we'll see. because it'll start leveling out, but it's moving pretty fast. I mean, the good news is we've got a big, long yellow arrow there, so that means it's decelerating relatively quickly. Some of that is probably because we are flattening out the descent, and then once we go back into the descent, we'll have a little bit more, but we're about 270 now. Once we get below 260, we'd no longer be alarming. They give you usually that leeway up to at least like 259. So at this point, like, we should be okay, but it won't start descending in earnest again. And actually it looks like we've got the descent marker there, so it's going to wait about 7 miles before it does that. Don't know that I would do that. It doesn't look like it is waiting. It's back to 1,800 feet, so not bad. Again, telling me 5 minutes. I'll believe it when I see it. I don't think that's going to happen. We'll see if at 70 minutes where we're at, because that would, well, it's, I guess, 71, because we were up there a bit, but...
Walker 4021, you're off course. Cleared direct Matza. Resume on navigation.
Cleared direct Matza, Walker 4021. Yeah, so the issue is Matza is on the approach, but if I did that, like, it would have been really challenging to get here in time.
That heading 105. Expect radar vectors for visual approach runway 16 left.
I mean, we'll listen to them, but we're not really going to follow them. Leave WIS at heading 105. Radar vectors for visual approach 16 left, Walker 4021.
Walker 4021, turn right, heading 145, descend and maintain 3,000, vectors for the approach. Expect further clearance in about 18 miles.
Heading 145, descend and maintain 3,000. Forgot to give him my call sign, but that is, again, a flaw that people have identified with Beyond ATC, is it doesn't enforce the fact. Like, air traffic would say, who are you, you know, that are calling in and so forth. And it does not do that, you know, and obviously some of the argument is, well, it's software and, you know, it knows you're calling in, but that wouldn't be how ATC would work. So, alright, well, we're getting there, but it looks like we have some sort of a cap at 4. I have 3. I'm not sure what's giving us the... It must be the constraint
Walker
here at
4021,
Argue.
turn right, heading 155.
Turn right, heading 155, Walker 4021. Again, I'm going to get there eventually. We got 4 miles. It probably won't yell at me ahead of time, but it might. We'll see.
Walker 4021, airport is at your 1 o'clock 17 miles. Report the field in sight.
Well, I think it's right there. Field in sight, Walker 4021.
Walker 4021, cleared visual approach runway 16 left.
Cleared 16 left, Walker 4021. Alright, so now we're turning in. Now we're going to turn that on so we can see our localizer, and we're going to turn on approach. Oh, well, clearly I wasn't looking at the field. I lied when I said it was in sight. So I would also say it wasn't really at the 1 o'clock.
Contact Alliance Tower Tree 515. See you.
Contact Alliance Tower 13515, Walker 4021. Alright, so I am going to have to... I think, descend on my own and slow down, so I may actually take this off autopilot for now. I need to get under that glide slope. So we'll see what we can do here. Back that off too. But I need that heading to come up. Like, I am going way, way too fast. So this did a bad job because I'm 7 miles away from the airport. We'll see what we can do here. Like, the glide slope's coming in. Actually, no, it's not. It's giving me the altitude. Right.
Traffic.
It's alright. We can have traffic. Alright. So
2,500.
now we're gonna do that, and we'll see what it can do. I'm gonna put the spoilers on here.
Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up.
It is. Calm down.
1,000.
Too low. Terrain.
Clear of conflict.
Too low. Terrain.
Well, this is a bit of a mess, so we're gonna go around,
Too low. Terrain. Too low. Terrain.
because I cannot land at 300, so,
Too low. Terrain.
yeah, I know.
Too low. Terrain.
Alright,
Too
so
low. Terrain.
we're gonna try this again.
Too low. Terrain.
I'm not thrilled with how the autopilot brought me in.
Too low. Terrain.
Yeah, that would have been a disaster. I would have wasted the entire flight. Alright. So what I am going to do then is I'm going to put it on autopilot, and we're going to... Let me go up. Let me maintain it at 3. Let's see, where are we at? So we're going to go up here, autopilot. Whoops. I need to turn that off is what I need to do. Alright. Whoops. Shoot. Alright. Well, I may not be able to do autopilot, but... Alright, there's the altitude. Alright, I'm just about where I need to be, and then I'm going to have to... Alright. Not quite sure what it's yelling about, but it doesn't like me. Oh, speed brake's still out. So yeah, I need to fix that. And then we'll do this properly. Alright, we are way too high. So, let me set this. Alright, there we go. That's what I need. So, I need to get the speed down. Because the other problem is I don't have it in a position that the auto throttle could work. So let me do this, and then that, and that should work. So that'll slow me down there. And then if I do that, and go down, say 800, and we'll keep heading 351. Alright, I really hope that stops soon. I really apologize. I'm sure it's because we're too low or something. Let's see. Alright, there we go. Even though it wasn't on, or maybe I couldn't see it, I don't know. Alright. So I'm going to get this down to 240, because at this point I'm also overspeeding here, which is not good. So let me get the speed brakes out. Because in theory, we're 14 miles out. Like, I should be able to turn around here, but I'm not sure. I also don't know why I'm not descending. Oops. I always love it. It's so hard to pick these sometimes, to hit them and make it, take it. Alright. Alright, so it has altitude. Has that. I need to get down to about 3,000, and then we'll just come in at about that. You know what, I'll go, well, let me go to 3,400, that's good enough. Alright.
2,500.
Okay. So it's going to come up a little bit because it's going to try to level out. Alright. And then I'm going to slow myself down a little further here. Get ourselves to 220, but at this point I am going to start turning to the left, just as if we were doing a left pattern. And so we're going to go to 230, let's say. Because we need to be at 1, so 240 actually. Because that'll almost give us, almost like we're doing pattern work. Yeah, I know I have the speed brakes out. Alright. Alright, so now I'm going to put the flaps out one level. Look for the runway. We're getting close to 240. Look for the airport. Should be close. You know what? I am just going to keep on going to 160. Whoops, 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 whoops. I don't want to get that to 160. That would be bad. I want to get this to 160. And then again, we'll see if we can lock on to the localizer and the glide slope again. Alright. So we got a long way to go, but we're 22 miles out from the airport now. So I am going to turn on the approach. And we're going to see if we can make this work this time. So I think I see it blinking out there. I think we're way too far out for the localizer. Alright, I think I need to honestly be more in this direction. Let me fix my navigraph a bit here. Yeah, I'm honestly, I'm kind of, no, I need to, whoops. I don't want to speed it up. I'm hitting the wrong things. So I really need to be over this way. It's kind of in that direction. So I'm basically trying to get back over to argue. I wonder if, do I have that in? Let's see, that might be the simplest thing. So let's do A, R, G, U, E. Alright. And then we're going to go direct. Whoops. Clear. Whoops. Flight plan. Whoops. Darn it. Okay, argue. All right. So now will it go? All right, it will. Cool. So now let me get this. Whoops. There we go. That'll work, and that'll get me where it needs to be. And then, hopefully, it will bring me in to the appropriate path. And the localizer will grab it. But at this point, you know, we're going 184 instead of 320 like I was before. Because, yeah, now we're less than 15 miles out. So, it's learning to use your autopilot quick, in a bit of a panic, fly the plane, but maintain enough control that you can still do what you need. Alright, so now we've grabbed the localizer again. I'm thinking it's right there, but I don't know. Glide slope is coming.
All aircraft be advised information Tango now current. Altimeter 2977.
Actually, the runway's there. So we are now at Argue, and then, yeah, we have 11 miles to the airport again. So, should be okay. Glide slope is coming down. Gonna put out my next level of flaps. That will help with stabilizing things, because we are going pretty slow. Alright. And now the green dot is going to join that up, and then it should hopefully then do what I need it to do, what it really should have been doing before, but it just really brought us in poorly. Alright, there we go. So we're good there. 9 miles out. Well, 8 here, 9 miles according to Navigraph, so maybe the
2,500.
maybe the vector is there. Put my gear down. Alright, so it is now playing with the throttle to kind of keep me up there. I'm going to drop down to, say, 170. I don't remember what my approach speed is supposed to be. Can't really, I think, can't be below 168. I don't know if, I think the upper limit is that, so yeah, we'll leave it here at 170. We'll go further flaps, and then we're going to pull full flaps. And we're in theory set for auto land, but I don't know. We'll see. The auto land works pretty well with this. I mean, I'm just, again, I don't want to lose the trip if I can avoid that, because then I have to do it again. Alright, I have this on medium. We have the spoilers up. So yes, I think everything is where it should be. But yeah,
1,000.
as you can tell, this is a much better approach than what we were flying to begin with. So, again, we probably scared the heck out of our passengers, but alright, we're down to 800. But we're still descending at a decent clip. We'll see if it says land or not. It should do that soon. I mean, I am on dual, but it may not. And again, I'm still 500 up, so I'm not too worried about it. I'll probably end up taking over, because, yeah. Oh, no, there we go. Now it says land. So at this point, in theory, you should let it go, because it will start to correct, and, alright, now it should pull up.
50, 40.
It's not. Come on. Go down.
20, 10, 5.
That was a little hard, but it's good enough to qualify. Alright. Get the engines into the correct direction. We may have totally confused beyond ATC. Oh, you know what? We never contacted the tower. Tower, Walker 4021 on the runway.
Walker 4021, Alliance Tower, wind 175 at 15, runway 16 left, cleared to land.
Runway 16 cleared to land, Walker 4021. Well, that's a little crazy.
No. Walker 4021 cleared to land, runway 16 left.
Runway 16 left, cleared to land, Walker 4021.
Walker 4021, exit left at Alpha.
Alright, so let me see where we're at here. I don't know if we are at Alpha. So I'm zooming in on my little nav map. I'm guessing we're not, because that's one of the things I've noticed. Oh, we kind of are, so, alright.
Walker 4021, exit left at Alpha.
Exited Alpha, Walker 4021. Now I think Alpha's the, like, the cross section. I don't know which way it's, probably I'll have us go that way. So we'll get here, and then it'll tell us to contact ground once we cross over here.
Walker 4021, contact ground 132.65.
Contact ground 132.65, Walker 4021. So kind of messed up the ATC a little bit. I would have really gotten in trouble, but we had a little bit of a panic, so maybe they would have let me go. Alright, let me see if I can pick a gate first before I do anything. Let's see. Looks like... See, I don't know if they're going to call those gates or not. Alliance ground, looking for parking 6, Walker 4021.
Walker 4021, unfortunately, ramp 6 isn't suitable for your aircraft. Please select a different one, or I can choose one for you.
So this ends up being one of the problems. Most of the big gates look like they're full. So let's see. Parking 49, Walker 4021.
Walker 4021, ramp 49er isn't suitable for your aircraft.
It looks suitable.
Please select a different one, or I can choose one for you.
Parking 14, Walker 4021.
Walker 4021, ramp 14 isn't suitable for your aircraft. Please select
All
a
right.
different one.
I'm going
or
to
I
give
can
up,
choose one for
which
you.
is what I normally do. Any ramp, Walker 4021.
Walker 4021, ramp 15 taxi via Alpha.
Alright, so that might not be too far. 15, where? Well, I don't see 15, I see 14. Ramp 15 via Alpha, Walker 4021. So in theory, little nav maps should give me more info, but unless, let's see. Oh, well, I think there's a plane there already. It wouldn't know that. So we'll get close. There's a Sun Country sitting there right now. Whoa, 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 whoa. We are not taking off again. That's already, like, too much. I don't know why it leaps that much, but whatever. So, we'll get ourselves over there, but a little bit of excitement getting our NASCAR VIPs here into Texas for the All-Star Race. But they made it. That's the most important thing, right? They're here. They're alive, and they might not be so well, but they're alive. I didn't barrel it into the ground. So, let's see. I wonder if I should have gone there. I probably should have. Oh well. I think there's something up there. See, so that there's parking 8. I'm going to slide this over a little bit so you can kind of see it. So I am just off. Oh, it hit it. Oh, it hit it because, never mind. It hit it because I have to, if I try to give you sound, then you can't see. So yeah, this is kind of going up. So, but you can see, so that giant FedEx plane, there's a spot in between that. That would seem to be suitable for my aircraft. But this is where I think, again, the data is bad. And then things are kind of messed up. So that Sun Country, that first gate, is where it wants us to go. And at this point, I don't know. Yeah, you're a little nervous, aren't you? Shouldn't be on a taxiway. So, yeah, I think I can get up here, but I just don't know that it's entirely worth it. But in the interest of trying to do things, because the air traffic, you know, there's nothing else air traffic will give us. They, you know, at this point we'd be talking to a ramp agent, maybe, or something like that, I think. Oh, Amazon Prime. But, so yeah, going back, because obviously in this series I was using real traffic. I think FSLTL does just fine. I mean, again, are they the real planes that are there now? No. Like, real traffic would give me what was there, but I mean, the nice thing is because FSTL doesn't entirely use real traffic, it will go ahead and populate an airport regardless of what time it is. So that's the nice thing with injectors like that. You know, technically I should be over here, I guess. We'll go ahead, we'll pull into our gate, you know, where, again, with the other one, when you get close to a plane, it deletes the other plane. This doesn't do that. So it'll be interesting once Beyond ATC does stuff with traffic, how that will all work. Because it will be the injector, and then I would assume that it would know. But again, we don't have... This would really suck if suddenly it gave me a collision, but it won't. I know it won't. So, so he's in our spot, so we're just gonna, like, morph right into him. Teach him for being in the wrong place. Alright, so now I'm at parking 1-5. Just making sure... Oh, well, I haven't shut off my engines yet. I'm like, did I get credit? But I don't get... Oh, I never turned this off. That's bad. Alright, engine off, engine off. Well, I landed at 531 according to that. As long as we're not over 800, Walker will take it. I mean, 800's pretty crazy, but... So, but in any event, you know, because I really should have turned on my APU ahead of time. I kind of did bad stuff, but I don't know that it'll start because now my engines are off. Maybe they're spooling down, so maybe I get a little bit of power. Maybe it'll work. but my guess is it won't. I'm just curious. I'll do that off camera. But if you've enjoyed this and haven't dropped a like, please consider doing that. And if you are not a subscriber, please consider doing that. And I will see you next time.